I forgot to send out the live link for people to join us and listen to us. So we were going to act like we're a big podcast with a big audience for now. I'm going to find a perfect time to kind of sneak away and send out that link. But now that I'm on camera, you guys can pay attention to the exact moment you think I'm sending out the tweet for people to watch us live. I'll try to find a perfect time that Donnie and Evan just go crazy. This is a time where we really need Gov. He's running a bit late because if you guys have noticed, if followed along with the podcast long enough, you know once you get Gov heated up on a topic, sometimes you can't stop that runaway train. And Donnie just knows how to needle him just enough to keep him going. Sometimes Evan will go 15 minutes without saying a word. So maybe I'll give Evan the first word tonight. How are you doing, Evan?
I am not bad. I think that's going to be an interesting prop bet to see when does Logan turn away to tweet out the show link.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can do it sneakily enough that you guys can't pick up on it. So if you can leave in the comments when you think I actually send it out, I'll try to do it at some point.
Over and unders at the 15-minute mark. Just to let you guys know.
Yeah, we can't bet on the national anthem because that was ruined a couple of years ago by some insider trading, if you will. So, but in all fun and sincerity, I think that's what is going to encapsulate this show the most. Because I want to talk about some serious prop betting and some like ways for you guys to win money. But I also want to do it in a fun way. And I think as we get the good warnings and reminders to bet responsibly, I think there is a lot of fun to be had with DraftKings and like a structure and different ways to play. But you guys should all know that we're involved in a free basketball contest tonight because we never let an opportunity slip through our fingers. And I think that's most important. It doesn't matter if you got $5 in your account or 500. You should bet with what you have means to. And you should always be looking for fun, innovative ways to make money. But don't do it to the point where you get silly. I mean, I think it was before the show, Donnie was talking about how you can bet punters to win the Super Bowl. Not to say you shouldn't have a little fun, but honestly, ask yourself how a punter is going to win the Super Bowl. And then if you can honestly, realistically put it in the comment section or the comments of the video and tell me how, I'll listen. But I don't think that's actually a good bet.
Yeah, the Super Bowl would have to be 3-0 at best. Punter had to have like 5 punts, 250 yards. Crazy unrealistic. And they got to be all inside the 20.
I mean, it would honestly be like...
It'd be ridiculous.
Evan, honestly, the best comparison I can give you is, say you have a Super Bowl party this weekend, right? And you know everyone is lactose intolerant, and all you have to eat are like cheese options. You know, you order cheese pizza, you have like mozzarella sticks, and so like you just taunt people with the stuff they can't eat. That's what I feel like that kind of offering is as a prop. Like, sure, it's there, and like the long shot probability of it hitting, I guess
but it's plus 100,000.
Right. Like at some point, it's almost a poison that they're trying to tempt you with more than an actual like good relationship. So I believe that there's fun to be had and there's interesting conversations, but there's also like a lot of kind of murkiness that you got to be careful with as well. I just want to get that up front.
Well, yeah, and speaking of, fun to be had, they have one tab that's for the Swifties, and it's just like, like a quarter, ending the quarter to have 22 plus points scored for the, that song 22.
I bet some of those.
Deja vu. Kansas City win by exactly 11 points. That's fun. That's like silly fun,
No, I bet some of those because I felt like those were going to have the fun kind of markets that wouldn't get bet up much. Because like we all know, the markets that get overpriced or not fun are the markets that get hit by these big chain gambling communities. And think about it, like most gamblers are going to want to parlay. They're going to want to do these more insight things. They're not going to look for the fun novelties as much.
Yeah,
so I feel like you can bet that market.
Here's the silly one, like the karma one. Travis Kelce to have 0 catches and the Niners to win a Super Bowl. Like, come on.
He'd have to get injured.
He'd have to get hurt on like the first play.
Yeah.
0 catches?
And how scummy would you be to be like, come on, Travis, get injured. I got to win this.
Hey, man, sometimes it is. Like,
I would rather bet Brock Purdy or Patrick Mahomes to get injured and have their backup quarterback than Travis Kelce to have 0 receptions. That's how unlikely I think both of those scenarios are. But like the way quarterbacks take hits and the way that like everyone knows that they're the premium position, that if you capitalize on it, injury. Not to say that they're trying to, but it's a violent game and
Yeah, no, here's the thing. I literally think it's more likely for Sam Darnold to win MVP. And I know that's like the most common bet thing right now. Well, not common, but it's the one that would hurt Vegas the most.
I think the funniest one that we've got here for the Swifties category is 2 is better than 1. The 2 successful 2-point conversions. When was the last game where 2 teams, or at least 1 team, had 2 successful 2-point conversions?
In the Super Bowl?
Or just at all? Like,
I think did this because I know like the Patriots had 2 against the Falcons, I'm pretty sure.
This past season?
No, in the Super Bowl.
Okay. Yeah, because I can't.
I'm not going to say it hasn't happened before. I'm pretty sure it happened in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That one scares me though because of the innovation of the new league. Like it's not just Dan Campbell; he might take it to the extreme, but we have seen teams that seem like push the offensive envelope or the offensive creativity more. I could see a team being like, you know what, I don't know if we talked about on screen or off screen, but we were talking about unique scores and potentials for like scoring output that we hadn't seen before. And I could see a coach being like, you know what, similar to how Sean Payton went for the onside kick to be different, I could see the 2-point conversion being utilized in the Super Bowl. I don't know. Maybe that's me reading into it too much.
I think it's too early. It has to be like really,
Do you think there'll ever be a time though where someone goes for a 2-point conversion 60% or 70% of the time, and they just like purposely leave the kicker off the field? Because I do think we're closer to that era than we're further away.
Well, if you remember, I think it was 2017. Ben Roethlisberger, that was his take. We should not be kicking extra points anymore. We should be going for 2 every time.
I honestly believe in
So it's coming. I legitimately think it will be coming one day. There will be a coach to try it. He might get fired because of it, but there will be a coach to try.
Yeah, I believe it's coming because think about like a coin flip. It's not really a 50-50. I mean, if it's a 50-50 proposition, then I guess. But I think like as an offensive guy or as an offensive coach or even a guy who believes in your offense like Ben Johnson, if you think your offense is not overpowered, you should go for it. Like if you think you can make it more than 50% of the time. Because when you're right, it's such an advantage.
So according to Axios and the data they've accumulated as of December 10th of 2021, the success rate of the 2-point conversion, it's estimated between 40 and 55% success, whereas the 1-point conversion, the PAT, is 90 to 95.
Yeah, no, but that's with the bad teams. So let's say at the low end it's 45% across the NFL. So the best ones, it's going to be 60%?
That's my point. It's like I wouldn't recommend that every team goes for it, Evan, but I would recommend that if you think you're one of the elite offenses, you should go for it every time.
I don't agree with that at all because if you're not playing it safe with the 1-point conversion, the PAT, Pats now are not gimmies anymore like they were in the 90s. They don't do it from the 2-yard line back in the day. But now that they're a little more challenging and it's very uncommon to see kickers miss those, it would be ridiculous to take your chances when it's less than 60% success rate, where that could kill you in the regular season if you're always going for 2.
Here's why I think you should do it, though. I don't know if you consider this theory, but we've seen injuries, especially to high-profile positions like quarterbacks, happen more often. If you're not going to be kicking an extra point as much, and you're going to just punt on that point, and you're going to go for 2 every time, you could potentially say, like, I'm going to only have one kicking unit. Like, I'm going to only have one kicker. He's going to do my punts and my kicks because I don't need him to do extra points.
Yeah. The only argument against it, for me, is you're giving up your whole red zone offense. Like, your goal line offense, you'd have nothing. Eventually, you'd run out of stuff.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? Like, I think if you're going to do it, though, you wholesale it. You say, like, I'm going to just carry an extra wide receiver, an extra running back. I'm not going to have a punter on my roster. I'm just going to have a single position. He'll be called a kicker. He has to kick off.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing. To be honest, I think the Eagles were stupid. Why would the Eagles not do it? With the tush push being so effective last year, I mean, they would have scored. I legitimately believe they would have scored more points.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I think the problem is it's so nuanced, and then everyone thinks that like the whole league has to adapt to it. They don't. To me, it's like the running quarterback. It's like you shouldn't run if you have Jared Goff or Tom Brady or some of these statue guys like Ryan Mallett, for example. As much as we had hoped he was never going to be a running quarterback. Shout out to his arm strength for what it was. Like I just want to show different quarterbacks at different ranges to give you an idea. But I do think there are offenses that make sense. Like who knows? Maybe then a quarterback specifically comes in for a red zone situation. I mean, we saw Derrick Henry obviously be a good kind of wildcat quarterback.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Ryan Mallett, Colin. This is like the third time we've talked about Ryan Mallett on the show, and it's really strange.
Well, I've always just really kind of
for a second round pick by the Patriots.
They got grinded guy that never gave up, and then obviously the way that kind of went, like even Ryan Leaf, like the way he turned around his misfortune is always inspiring me. So I always like it when a guy doesn't give up on himself.
But as we're, I mean, I can understand the point being made where if you look at the season-wide overall extra point percentages, as of 2014, it was 99.3% made. And as of 2021, heading into week 14, 92.5%. So as they're moving the extra point yard line back, it's getting significantly harder, which at this point is making people like what we're discussing right now. Do you just go for two more often? But I don't think we're even close to being there. And even then, I don't think we're going to see that for
I think it's close. I think we'll see it
10 to 15 years, maybe you'll start to see it more, but
yeah,
the extra point's not going away.
It's not going away. It will be dead, but I think there will be a team to try to adopt that trend.
Don't you think, though, people had this idea with Michael Vick? It's like, oh, well, Atlanta did this with Michael Vick. He was such a rare athlete, and now look at how many running quarterbacks we have. So
he wasn't even the first, though, to make it work. You had Steve Young. I'm pretty sure guys like Culpepper made it work, too, on the Vikings, occasionally.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, there were spikes. That's what I'm saying. There were signs it was coming. Michael Vick kind of blew the top off the idea that you could make it a full-time thing. And now look at how much the running is just ingrained. And so I think eventually that's what happens. The 2-point was always available. We saw it when it was necessary. Then we see sprinkles of it more. Now we see a coach like Dan Campbell doing it.
I'm a firm believer. If you're significantly less talented, you should be taking more risk.
I agree with that theory.
If you're going to be less talented anyway, and you got a chance to, put somebody down by 8 instead of, 7, I'm sorry, I'm probably taking the chance. Especially where the Lions this past year, I would have won for 2 a couple times. You've been one of the best fake teams all year, and short yardage teams all year. Why not? How would it have hurt when they were very aggressive against the Niners? So I'm not. But why not? If you're going to be aggressive, just go all out.
Because it's not always the right decision, depending on the game situation.
Yeah, but
here's the thing: if you think you have a higher likelihood to convert it, even if you admit that you're going to fail sometimes, if you think that conversion rate is over 50%, then I do think the risk is worth the gamble, even when you're wrong.
If you're a 30-point per game offense and you can hit it over 50% of the time, it actually does end up being at least evening itself out. If you make it over 50% of the time, then you're technically scoring more points as a 30-point per game offense.
And Evan, you might have a good point. I don't want to diminish it because you might actually have a good valid argument here. Kind of like we could argue, should the Eagles goal line offense with the tush push, should that be illegal? Should it be banned? That's a different argument than saying, is it efficient? That's what I'm saying. It's you could argue whether you should or not. I'm saying do you actually think it could be efficient? Do you think a team could do it more efficiently? You would still say no?
Realistically, do you think the Eagles could have hit it 70% of the time, Evan? If they just tush pushed every time from the goal line?
if they tush push every time from the goal line, eventually teams are going to figure out how to stop it.
Teams
So,
didn't figure out how to stop it all year long, and they did it all year long.
but there's also
They're
a lot of
hitting
teams that
90%.
don't see it coming for some reason.
No, there was a lot of teams that saw it coming and just couldn't stop it.
Well,
Nah.
that's what I'm trying to say, though. Evan might not be wrong. I'm just
Or you could
wondering-
do a fake tush push. Like if you implement okay, instead of going up, you actually just pitch it back.
They
the
did
right
do
back.
that, by the way.
Yeah.
They did. They
Oh,
did
now,
do that a
now,
few times.
now what does it turn into? If like that legitimately could be a 70% of the time making 2-point conversions, and now you'd be stupid not to go for it. Maybe
Well-
the statistics wouldn't match that, but I would try it.
That's what I want to know from Evan, though. Like, what is the statistical rate in which you would say, okay, yeah, it's worth it? Is it 50%? Is it 52? Is it 75?
Are just exclusively with the tush push or something else?
No, just
In general.
Yeah, 2-point conversion. Your idea of like what it would have to be success rate to do it.
Well, like I said, it has to depend on the particular situation. Like if you have like a Nick Folk who had the yips and he's not making anything, or
Mhm.
if your momentum picks up in the third quarter and you're sucking donkey nuts in the first half, sometimes you just have to take those chances if you don't want to lose by big. Like I said though, it depends on the situation. I don't think it's as simple as we're trying to make it with the percentage by statistics. It's worth bringing up the data, but it's always got to be based on the situation and how well the momentum is working for the offense that day.
That's what I'm saying. Like situationally, you're right. Maybe you don't go for it every time, but that's why I kind of wanted to have that outside perspective. It's like if you were going to say like, "Hey, we're going to go for this more often than not," so I'm not going to carry a punter. I'm just going to carry a kicker. Who knows what that extra position might be? That might be a Marcus Mariota specialty position where you carry an extra quarterback, you carry an extra fullback. You know, maybe a Tim Tebow like role has a new place in the NFL. You know,
I mean, they're always going to be looking for utility guys like a Taysom Hill to be able to carry out specific tasks. A guy who's good at a lot of things but great at none. There's nothing wrong with that in the NFL because they want skills. And I don't think it's as simple as, well, like I said already, I don't think it's as simple as just data. It's completely situational. I feel like the distant cousin to the 2-point conversion is going for it on fourth down. I feel like those two are not far away from each other. And there's a reason that
It
guys
is,
like Dan
in my
Campbell will
opinion.
go for it more versus other teams would rather just punt.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I disagree. It's a lot different because I'm sorry, fourth and goal from the 2 is not the same as fourth and 2 from the 40. It's completely different.
Well, from the 40, most of the time people are gonna end up punting it. But
No,
guys
fourth
like
and
Dan
2
Campbell
from the
may
other
go for it.
40. That's very likely to go for it nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying though, is that now we're starting to see more coaches get more aggressive on fourth down versus what, 20, 30 years ago?
Yeah. And to that point, Evan, I think it is a personality, salt to pepper ratio or preference. You have to have the personality and the belief and the personality to go for it. Like you wouldn't run that offense you wouldn't run the tush push with like a Tom Brady.
Hey, don't disrespect Tom Brady's cute quarterback.
No, I'm saying like I was just going to bring that up. His actual like quarterback sneak was very successful. So why would you do something that wouldn't fit his style? Like the way he ran his quarterback sneak was his variety. Like I feel like
it was
he mastered
technique.
that.
It was very technique based. I'll say that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is like you wouldn't put him in the same situation you would put Jalen Hurts. And so that's where I think we fall a victim to this. It's like we view it as like, oh, every coach should go for it. No, not every coach is Dan Campbell, Not every coach is Arthur Smith either. We obviously didn't like that as fantasy guys. But if you're a 1960s lover of football, like my friend loves Arthur Smith's idea of football. He really does. Honestly, he thinks he loves that running backs can get 30 carries in a game. Like he thought that was a cool thing that like.
Well, we're
There's
on
nothing wrong with it in general.
Yeah, let me just say this while we're on the topic of personality because I saw this report today. Mike Vrabel apparently did not get some jobs because his personality was too intimidating.
And I don't buy that from most teams.
Keep in mind, the teams without head coaches are teams with a lot of issues up top.
Exactly.
So
So I don't think that's the case for every single team that wanted Vrabel. I think that's bullshit for some, but possibly true for others because there are some ridiculous owners.
Yeah, I think there might be 2 or 3 teams that would say you're too intimidating for me.
Yeah. Yeah, like a Mark Davis, I feel like would be one of those guys if they were looking, but they already have Antonio Pierce, so that point's kind of moot. But yeah, I think that's an insane rumor. I think it's Diane Rossini, if I'm not mistaken, reported
I believe you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's very good. I want to say.
I don't think it's a lie. I do buy that's real.
She's pretty plugged into the Tennessee Titans. I know she has good relationships with Derrick Henry. She's worked with Vrabel in the past, and she's very good. She went to the Athletic and got paid a lot of money to be an insider. She's even talked about how it's affected some of her family decisions. Like she's honestly said, I've neglected being a mother at times to talk to Derrick Henry and things like that. And she's like, I've made that rationale with my husband. He understands I'm a football junkie for this job. So like. We can say that's right or wrong. I'm saying like, but when she reports something, I believe it. There's a credibility that comes along with it.
Well, in order to be successful in that business, you have to be honestly neglectful to every other part of your life. If you want to be successful and consistently around as one of those names, you have to neglect the rest of your life.
And to be fair, she's not saying like she's the worst mother. She's saying like she understands that that's not the traditional role of a mother, but she understands like her job also affords her a lot of opportunities to be a mother in ways that a lot of mothers don't. Like she gets to be at home a lot to do her job. So there are drawbacks to jobs, and that's one of them. And her husband understands it. I'm just saying, when you have that kind of dedication, when it comes from her, giving her insight and how much money the Athletic gave her, there's no mistake. I actually think she's one of the best. I think she's better than Adam Scheffler. I'll just say that.
Getting back to Mike Vrabel real quick, the GM that told Diana Rossini the quote, he's a very large human being and can be very intimidating to people in an organization that are going to be a part of these decisions. That is a factor. I would say that's just not surprising because there are a lot of motherfuckers who are in charge of NFL teams who just don't know jack and shit about NFL football. Even missing to the point where it's like, Mike Vrabel used to play. Like, of course he's going to be a big motherfucker.
Yeah. But that can work in.
Yeah. And nothing like telling me I don't want my coach to be intimidating when he's going and standing and preaching to guys who are 300-pound, 6'6" monsters. Like,
well, let's be honest. When it works, you're the player empowerment guy. You're the guy that does the push-ups. You're the guy that does the up-downs like Dan Campbell. Hey, if you're going to ask my players to do it, I'm going to do it with them. Like, we saw plenty of videos where Dan Campbell's working out alongside.
An example of it. A great example of it.
Yeah, so I'm saying that physicality and that like persona of like he's a man's man, he's played the game, like he's a rah macho man, like that can be seen as a positive. And it's funny how when things are going well, we'll use that as a positive. When things are against him or stacked not in his favor, now we're like, hey, Eric Bieniemy, he's grouchy, he's angry. People don't like it's just funny how we use that kind of narrative to fit whatever story we're trying to tell.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just very silly that would be even a factor at all. Like,
I would say this:
building's intimidating.
I'm not a big fan of Mike Vrabel, but I think he is like going to be a head coach at some point. I'm also not a big fan of Jim Harbaugh. Like, I'm not, but I understand that he is probably an NFL level coach. But those are two guys I wouldn't have on my staff, and one of them is hired and one of them isn't. And maybe I don't know anything because I'm just a fanatic. I'm just saying, at my level of personality, like you have to find a coach and a personality set that works for you. A lot of people ask why Quinn was hired for the Commanders job, and if we're being honest, he has some of the best connections in the league in terms of friends.
He got Doug Kingsbury to back out of a job and take a job with him.
Well, not only that, but he has Shanahan. Like he's had Shanahan on his, he's plugged into a lot of guys. A lot of guys love him, and so honestly, it's almost like that little brother effect. Hey, when you're when your older brother is the cool guy and you get to go to all the parties because you have the inside, that's going to afford you opportunities to show out, and maybe that plays more of a benefit or a quality we should consider in a coach more than we kind of dismiss it. So I do think it goes both ways.
So if I can bring this over to the Atlanta Falcons, where uh what's his face, Arthur Smith used to coach, Raheem Morris replaced him and was asked earlier today what stands out about this Falcons offense, and he answered, "That's really easy: Drake London, Bijan Robinson." He did not mention Kyle Pitts. Do we read into this at this point, or is that just preseason nonsense?
I actually think that's better for Kyle Pitts than it is a negative because so many people have been trying to tell Kyle Pitts what he is. You're generational. You're a Megatron like guy. You're this. You're that. You're the next guy. So I think the fact that if he came out and said, I don't think Kyle Pitts is the main focus of the offense, I think that would be a damning thing. I actually kind of like that he didn't mention him. I know he also mentioned playing for the former team. So they're going for that Dan Campbell element of hey, we're bringing the hometown hero in. He's kind of got that bravado of he's still in shape. He can literally be on the field with the guys. I do think there's a lot of good connective tissue there.
There's also the whole fact that outside of 4 tight ends all time, I'm not counting a tight end as any of my major offensive pieces. My offense should run through London and Bijan. Because unless you're already saying Kyle Pitts is Gronk, is Tony Gonzalez, is Kelsey, is one of those major tight end weapons, which he may very well be, but he hasn't been used that way yet.
I disagree.
And he's definitely third on I would agree that he's definitely third behind Bijan and London on that team.
Kyle Pitts kinda. I feel like he could do a lot of what Jimmy Graham was doing with the Saints. Consistently catching yards, good touchdown guy, great athlete for a tight end. But Jimmy Graham would be that's what I'd want Kyle Pitts to be.
But even Jimmy Graham only had 3 or 4 good years in New Orleans. He didn't do anything when they traded him to Seattle.
I know. But that Seattle team was not a passing team, and they were not good, honestly, when that trade happened.
Yeah, they traded away their run-blocking center for a pass-catching tight end to try to completely flip the team identity.
After you already lost a team in the passing identity in the Super Bowl, but I digress.
Hi, guys. How are you guys doing anyway?
Yeah, we're good. I wanted to mention, too, Kyle Pitts has actually already shown at least what he's capable of building upon, and it's just fucking Arthur Smith that just misused him so horribly. His rookie year, he was in top 10 tight end with 110 targets. He caught 68 of them, which we know that the fucking Falcons haven't had a good quarterback since Matt Ryan, and over 1,000 yards. So take that for what you will. He absolutely can build upon that. It's just a matter of, does the team trust him?
And that's the thing is I think I am the biggest Kyle Pitts saying I want it to happen, but I'm at the point that I want to see the man develop to what the player wants to be for himself as well. We all know the talent is there. He is capable of so much, right? And instead of a coach like Arthur Smith preaching down your throat that, oh, he's going to be out there, so he'll be given the chances and then not be able to, or he'll be given the chances, but he drops the pass because maybe he is talented, but he has issues with his hands. I do think it's somewhat of a balancing issue where it's he's shown flashes, but he needs consistency. But to have consistency, he also needs familiarity with a coaching staff that can build trust over time. And he's had a lot of influx. So I just want to see him develop. Because I do think...
I just want to say this. One thing I will say is, if it was just Kyle Pitts not getting that work from Arthur Smith, then I'd be concerned. But it wasn't just him. It was him. London was not getting used excessively. Bijan.
I kind of don't hate them the way you use Bijan. To be fair, by the end of the year...
Okay. Yeah, no, by the end of the year,
Bijan was a 70% guy. So to not give your rookie running back full go right out the gate, they might get 6-7 years out of Bijan.
Bijan was all over the place with his snap percentage all year. Week 3, 81, and then by the end of the year, 74.
Right.
Yep.
With a lot of like 30,
And
40
then 1 week he
percenters
only had
in there
one attempt.
weirdly.
1 week he had one attempt in the middle of
Oh
the year.
yeah, that week there where they were going to get in trouble because like all of a sudden he's sick. He says after the game when he literally started and did 1 carry.
Yep. No, he started, had 1 carry, and that 1 carry came in a 4th down 2-minute drill.
Well, I've been riding this train too for a long time. That versatility can come in a lot of different ways. We might see a Mark Andrews and Lively situation where they're running 2 just offensive weapons on the field, or you have Johnson and Taysom Hill on the field at the same time.
It's just they're the perfect scenario when you talk about 2 tight ends. Gronk and Hernandez, it worked with them.
Does this
really
offense
did.
really fucking need Jonnu Smith, though? He's not bad. I don't want to trash Jonnu Smith. He's a decent tight end. But does this team without Arthur Smith really need Jonnu Smith?
It depends on what their identity is going to be. Like,
Yeah, we don't even
if
know
they're
what
going to
they're
play
gonna
like the Ravens and be a run-first team, then a
Yeah.
2 tight end, I would like 2 tight ends, yes. But if
Then
they're
they
going to
drafted
if they're going to be a passing team, then like unless that other tight end is a pure blocker, no. You don't
Well,
need 2
Johnny
tight ends.
was
You
a
need
blocker,
a passing.
really.
You need like if you're going to run it like my 2 stamps would be like, are they trying to make the Chiefs or are they trying to make the Ravens? If you're trying to make the Ravens, you get 2 tight ends. You have Andrews and Likely, so that injury, whatever, you're good with your multiple tight ends. 2 tight ends is a good run formation. Like, great. If you're if you're like San Francisco, where you have that weird utility dude, or like who else? There was another team this year that was using a guy kind of like Juszczyk gets used in San Francisco. I'm forgetting. But like, if you have that weird utility guy who can be like a backup tight end and a fullback and whatever else you need him to be, that's very useful. And most people don't.
Well, like John Gruden, he was using
most of those guys. They just liked having a fullback, and it just so happened that sometimes their fullback could catch, and when he could catch, he could do everything a tight end could do.
Yeah, but it was specifically Alec Ingold, was doing it with the.
Well, yeah.
I just feel like at that point, if you're going to just be a run-first team that's a blocker, trade Kyle Pitts then, because you're wasting his talent.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. I would agree. If that's what they're doing, I think you could flip Kyle Pitts and get 2 Noah Grays of sorts. But I also think there's something to like building it kind of how Detroit is, kind of how Kansas City is. Like, get that pass-catching tight end, and I'll go get another weapon or 2 and a solid running back, and then hope my quarterback and offensive line are good enough to get me through.
I mean, we're already talking.
And that's really where they're at. Like, if Atlanta has offensive line and quarterback situation are solid enough throughout the year where the skill players can do what they're supposed to do, that's an offense that's talented. That's an offense that can take you. It's just, I definitely don't believe in their quarterback. Their offensive line wasn't horrible.
Is it still Des Ridder at this point?
It's still Taylor Heineke, yes.
It will not be.
It
won't be
either. Yeah, honestly, we might see Kirk Cousins go there. Like, let's be real. I don't know who it's going to be.
And they can't even talk to Kirk Cousins until something like March 11th.
I'm almost positive it'll be
they can't talk to Kirk Cousins. Yeah, crazy.
I don't know how you...
Kirk Cousins can't sign a deal until March 11th.
I don't know how you get around that.
Agent's going to be talking to somebody.
Oh, I know how to get around it.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm wondering too, because how do you get around the tampering rule? So
everyone always does.
Yeah,
they find ways. Antonio Brown with the Raiders. Anybody?
Dude, every signing, Stephon Gilmore with the Patriots. Like, anybody who's ever been signed hour 1 of free agency, you were clearly tampering. Sorry.
I mean, there was rumors that like Jim Harbaugh, for example, would show up at 12:01 on someone's doorstep. Are you telling
That's awesome.
Are you telling me like he actually set his clock for 12:01? I don't think so. Like, that might be when he made his public appearance. But let me tell you, if he's in the neighborhood, there was other things coming through the forest. Let's just say that. But I've said this for a while, and I think you guys.
Can we just get rid of that whole tampering rule in general? Like,
I think
once the season's over, your contract.
I don't want to get rid of it, but it doesn't.
No, but if you're not under contract and the season's over, I don't care. That's how I feel.
I think they have to have an official rule, though, Donnie, but I don't think they have to enforce it. I think that's where they're at. I think they know
Oh,
it
they'll
happened.
try to sometimes. They'll try to investigate things sometimes, and it kills me.
Yeah.
So if the Falcons indeed do go after Kirk Cousins, Cousins is 35 and a half years old at this point. He'll be 36 later this year. How long are the Falcons going to keep him? Are they going to expect him to be like Aaron Rodgers?
You'd sign him to a 2-year, $64 million deal and call it a day.
Correct.
Yeah, because they still have a lot of talent on rookie deals, so they
And
can do.
honestly, Evan, I think
I don't think it's a bad idea. It's just, does he have anything left in the tank after the injury? Well, I guess we'll see.
and honestly, maybe that's where our podcast thrives over some others because we're not a total XFL or UFL kind of podcast where we're totally niche and we're not afraid to go into those like degenerate moments where we will play some spring football. We know that quarterback is a valuable position, and we saw it with how many injuries there were this year. Dobbs, Mullins, like they all got starts this year.
Yeah, who was the weirdest starting quarterback this year for you guys?
Hall.
Joe Flacco.
No, that wasn't weird to me because once Rodgers got hurt, was it really weird? We kind of assumed the Jets would have picked it
But
up.
no, but that's the thing, Donnie. I think he has a good point. It was successful, so we cheered for it like it was a Cinderella
No,
story.
I'm not saying successful, like what shocked you. I'm saying just who was a weird starter this year.
I do
Clayton
kind of
Tune.
agree. I do kind of agree it was strange. though.
Clayton Tune's a good one.
Yes, Tune
We
Squad,
got
baby.
we got our good old Bailey Zappi. That was good. It's
That-
always nice
Rappy
to see
Zappy.
It's
No,
always
hey,
nice
hey,
to Zappy for a
Do
game.
not talk about Bailey Zappi.
Why? I liked seeing him for his game. I'm
He played half the
complimenting
year.
Zappy dude.
He
I'm
played half the
complimenting
year.
Zap Zapper. I'm giving Zap
Wait till
Zapper
June.
rookie
Wait, watch the comment. We're about to see a zap the defense in a half a second. Watch.
We do have like 3 comments now.
There it is. There it is.
Hey, he does have a good idea. You guys should all turn on notifications if you haven't yet. I did send out the link. See, I told you I was going to do it sneakily. I sent out the live link. But if you haven't done it yet, we are trying to get to 300 sub goal. I do set my sub goal high because you know what? Maybe all we need is one night where we accidentally get a bunch of porn bots in here or something crazy happens. So I don't even need it to be a legitimate thing. All I want is to get this out to the biggest audience possible so then I can affect the people it really matters for. Because the honest truth is the more notifications we get, the more people that get involved, the smarter we make the community and can help each other. There's been a lot of bigger podcasts, for example, that have given us the time of day where you'd be like, why did they give you the time of day? Because they understand that even if we have 1 or 2 audience members they do not have, it's valuable. And I think that's important. And I hope that we do see some spring football and we are inspired to be like, hey, I hope that guy comes to the Patriots and actually is a good wide receiver. I hope Donnie gets to see a good wide receiver in his lifetime play for his Patriots.
If Donnie comes back.
Maybe he went on a scouting report to find that wide receiver right away. But
I had a good question for him about the Patriots too, so I gotta hold it until he comes back.
You do got to hold it. But we do have Go back for the first time. Go, we were talking about the 2-minute warning or the 2-minute conversion rate. And it was an interesting conversation. So you have to go back and listen to the whole thing if you want context. But I do want to know at what point, conversion rate wise, would you consider going for 2-point conversion the whole game?
Like what percentage would it need to
Yes.
you guarantee me it's going to convert at this percent.
Yes.
Yes.
What percent does that have to be for me to go for 2 every time?
Now,
And there's still the other team can go for 1.
correct.
Right? They don't. Okay.
Do you want the analytical
If you
answer?
can guarantee me 50-50, I would do it.
There you go. See, 50. That's how I feel. 50-50.
If you
By the
guarantee
way-
me 50-50, then over time it just works out.
It
It's
just
fine.
evens itself out.
Now, we had a
Also-
full 20-minute conversation about it. So if you want to go back and
There's
listen,
no, because that's the 3-point.
Because if you get 51% of the time, it automatically works in your favor.
yeah, I agree with that.
Analytically, that's just how it is.
Evan was staunchly against that. I was probably the most advantageous for going for it. Donnie was somewhere in the
I
middle.
just pulled up the list of every quarterback that started a game this year.
Also, Logan, I'd like to thank you for breaking my StreamYard when you said something about the Patriots having a good wide receiver.
No, I think that was Bill Belichick, man. I
Oh,
think
right,
that
Danny DeVito. How did we forget about Danny DeVito?
Tommy DeVito was weird.
okay,
Oh,
but that is kind of the 2-point conversion idea, though. If you have a Tommy DeVito, or if you do not have a quarterback that fits that 2-point conversion offense, you shouldn't go for it. But if you feel like you have a Jalen Hurts kind of quarterback,
Yeah, no. My argument was if the tush push was 70% successful from the 2-yard line, why not just run the tush push and occasionally do a fake tush push and pitch it to the running back? Because to me, that would probably work 70% of the time.
Wow,
yeah,
Kyler Murray and Clayton Tune started the same number of games.
Yes, they did.
And to talk about especially, Tune actually got a lot of usage when Kyler Murray was back because they used him ironically for like 2-point conversions and sneaks and that kind of stuff. So it's weird how coaches have their like unique twist and personality kind of beliefs on offense. So to transition though, to talk a little bit about some of the prop bets and how you guys would kind of like enjoy a Super Bowl, I can show you some of my bets later on. I think that would be a good reveal, and you guys can kind of laugh and see if you agree with them. But what would be your overall ideal way to enjoy the Super Bowl, but do it responsibly? Like essentially, what's the best way for a football fan to enjoy this game? Is it to just get in with the casuals and enjoy the nonsense? So you enjoy the Super Bowl party, you enjoy the halftime show, you have the snack with the people, or are you like that staunch? You want the referee shirt on, you want the whistle, you want everyone to fuck off so you can watch the. Like, where do you guys fall?
I haven't had a day off on a Sunday to watch a Super Bowl for a long time. Like, I'm usually the guy getting off work, coming in, catching the second quarter on.
Yeah.
That's not going to be happening this year. So I will be off. So I don't know. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to have to eat with the family. Probably wings and pizza. Nothing special. But maybe it will be. And we're going to watch the Super Bowl. I'll be in here on my computer probably watching it while it's on the TV out there. And I'll be talking with everyone in Discord because I'll be sweating my lineups.
Well, Gov, I don't know if you saw, but Gino is one of Donnie's good time friends. Now, he says he's going to be arguing with Donnie. Now, some people really see, for a decade, I would host a Super Bowl party. So I enjoyed being the football guy and inviting all the casuals in. And they knew that was like my time. Like I knew the sport, I knew what was going on. So they really enjoyed like letting me kind of letting that be my soapbox moment essentially. And I really enjoy kind of presenting what I enjoy on a weekly basis in that way. Now I know some hardcore fans don't like that at all. They want to treat this like an actual football game. To me, I think the Super Bowl is something else, or the big game.
It's an event. It's not. It's an event to me. It's not a game.
And
I mean, there is a football game being played, but like the theatrics around it, before, after, every commercial, like it is meant to be something like you're either ignoring it or you are trying to put yourself and immerse yourself in it.
See, no, Juno's confused, and I gotta correct him. It's not a holiday. The day after is a holiday.
Bullshit.
The day after is a holiday. You have to have the day off the next day. Come on.
Again, as someone who didn't have either day off normally.
See, my parents always let me take school off the next day.
A bunch of drunkards. The only people who take the day off after the Super Bowl are drunk.
Nope.
They're alcoholics. They have a problem.
They're hungover.
Sorry, but like, yeah. Like, do you like? I've known people who partied harder. I was about to say, I've known people who partied harder for the Daytona 500 and wouldn't have said they needed Monday off.
Yeah, but that's a redneck thing, though. They're used to that.
Yeah, and I'm kind of rednecky, so I'm sort of used to that. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the red beards that give us away?
No, I lived in the South my whole life until I moved to California.
But there has been like people trying to make it a national holiday for a long time, and
well, yeah, because football's huge. It's never going to be a national holiday.
Yeah,
It's so silly.
Like it's
Let's
never going to
be
be.
But I will say
It's
we
gonna be a
do.
government
There are
holiday.
worse
The
things.
day
that we
after is never
celebrate.
going to be a government holiday.
Okay, no. But here's the thing: why is Columbus Day?
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Just saying.
No, we
Once
can go there.
celebrated
okay.
much more.
When
Celebrated
they
much more.
when they doled out government holidays in the fucking 40s and 50s, when they put that shit in the books, they just picked random days early in the year that people could have off. Like, there's no reason for a Labor Day to even exist except they needed a holiday in September.
Yep.
All right, let's be freaking real.
God, here's the thing.
Like, Labor Day is there because Columbus Day is there. And they didn't need so many. That's why Lincoln's birthday and Washington's birthday became President's fucking Day. Sometime while I was at school, I went from getting 2 days off in January for birthdays of the presidents to one fucking President's Day. And I don't know when it happened. I forget. I just all of a sudden I lost a day off at school. Pissing me off.
Same.
Let's be honest as well, and I'm not complaining because I actually think it should be this way in some cases. But in some people's jobs, even if it is a holiday, you don't get it off. There are some jobs that require you to work because they
As a
need it.
cook, I've worked most holidays. The only holiday I've ever guaranteed off is usually Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's the one holiday where everyone else is cooking, so there's a lot of restaurants that are closed. But I've had to work Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, all that stuff.
New Year's Day is I don't.
Now,
I don't
sometimes
get it.
New Year's Day is we open at 1 instead of 11. Or Christmas Eve, we close at 8 instead of midnight.
Okay, so we can allow people to be hungover the day after.
We'll give you a little bit of time, but they're still open on Christmas Eve.
Okay,
They're still opening Christmas Day. You just open 2 or 3 hours later so that everyone has time to have some time in the morning.
Honestly, though, I kind of prefer these conversations over trying to pick our favorite prop bet that makes no sense, and you're just trying to glom on to this is
How many games did Joshua Dobbs start? Total.
Too many.
Between the Cardinals and the Vikings.
between the two.
Let's say 9.
9.
Hey, look at that.
Evan?
Oh, we are betting on this. Okay. I will go 10.
It was exactly 9.
Yikes.
Look at us, Logan.
I
We're
told-
so smart.
We think alike. It might be dangerous, but we think a lot alike. So, but here's the thing. So, no matter if you think it should be a holiday or not, but here's what's going to happen though. I think a lot of people, they fight this resistance to oh, I'm a football fan, I have to bet, or I'm a football fan, I have to enjoy the game. Guys, you can just say hey, this is an event. Just like Thanksgiving can be football, but it can be hey, it's also a time for family. There's time for both. There's a reason there's 2 weeks between the game. I mean, we have plenty of time to digest our football analytical data, to build our lineups, to put together good. But I do think you can overthink things, honestly. In all transparency, I do think you can overthink things, whether that's a prop bet, whether that's a DK lineup. And so I really do just sit back as a casual and enjoy it, because it is a sport that I enjoy, that I feel like casuals don't get to see every week. So I do enjoy to watch it through their eyes. I don't know. Maybe that makes me strange.
I just saw the comment. Yes, Super Bowl over Flag Day 1,000 times over. Yes.
Don't say Flag Day in Super Bowl. That'll make me think we're going to get way too many penalties.
If we have a Super Bowl written,
I don't know. Do we need any yellow to go with all that red?
Oh,
I don't know.
Hey, I party hard on Flag Day. I don't know about you guys.
see, this is ridiculous.
Earth Day. That's the day you party.
But here's an actual flag conversation we can have. Why is it why?
You know what? Before you say that should be something we could bet on. Why can't we bet on over/under on flags?
Okay, I can give you the real.
I can probably find a book that'll take your money for it. I mean,
yeah, there's definitely offshore.
I'm
offshore
sure
books.
somewhere will let you bet on the number of penalties in a game.
No, in fact, I know there is. There are some offshore books.
Because you'd say something about it being rigged.
Although, is it all flags? So I need a book that'll
Yeah.
combine penalties with challenges.
Yes.
Donnie, the honest truth is you can do it offshore, but any big book like DraftKings or FanDuel is not going to do it because they want to have a partnership and a
They're
relationship.
still going to have a lot of prop bets. Have you looked at the prop bets?
The
Yeah.
For the Swifties one are some of my favorite bets. Like, I love those prop bets.
I haven't seen any of them, honestly.
I bet some
No,
of them.
some of them are really good.
Okay, so how about we do this? You guys can go through my bets and see which one you like and which one you dislike. And that'll be our start. You can look at the ones I've already played.
If I get the ones you get wrong, right? Does that mean I get the money?
Okay, that's actually good. What do you guys think I've already bet on?
Kelsey yards. Kelsey over under yards for sure.
I have not bet on that one. So here I go. I'll show you the first one. I bet over 103 at plus 100 on Kansas City total rushing yards.
rushing yards. Okay.
With Mahomes, I wouldn't be surprised,
So
especially
Mahomes
because that
plus-
offensive line looks to be banged up.
Yeah, I
going
could
into
see
the
him having
game.
over 103 rushing yards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I expect Mahomes to have 20 something.
Patrick Mahomes is a far more efficient rusher in the playoffs, so I do think he has the ability. And McKinnon being activated on the IR actually puts that.
By the
over.
way,
So then you got a plus 240 on Kelsey scoring and a KC win.
that's a For the Swifties bet right there.
That is a Swifties bet.
Yeah, that's Swifties bet.
Which I actually think is a fun market, Gov, that won't get bet up a lot because it will go as a novelty. So sometimes the high professional gamblers will just look at that as like not worth their time, essentially.
Length of the longest field goal. Wait. What will be higher? Length of the longest field goal or total points?
And I took total points at minus 125.
So if it's a 57-yard field goal, essentially, you'd have to have 58 points scored, right?
Yeah. I think the
that's
longest
not a bad
field
one.
goal that gets hit would be maybe 51 or 52.
No, like
So if
honestly,
you get- I
there's a
think if
good
you
shot
get
that
to-
it's only 40.
If you get to 50, you're probably good on that, honestly.
Yeah, well, there's a good chance that 41's the highest field goal.
Well, honestly, we talked about it for the good 15 minutes of the show. I just think with more teams going for two, with more teams taking chances on fourth down, I just think the opportunity for field goals is shrinking, especially when they're longer distance. So I think that's a good bet.
I think while we're on the topic,
This is my first under, though. I want to get this one because this is the only under I bet this week. But I think it's a good one.
Pacheco rush yards on. So wait, you have the Chiefs to have over 100 yards, but Pacheco to have under 68.
Yeah. I think McKinnon has a bigger role.
I don't see
McKinnon or Edwards-Helaire. What you would need is Patrick Mahomes for that one to hit.
Patrick
You would
Mahomes
need
needs to have
Patrick
30.
Mahomes to rush for like 30, 40 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And I
what
think
you
it's
need.
possible, but we also saw
No, it is possible, 100%.
And we also saw Clyde break off a big 30-yard rush already in the playoffs. So
Yeah, but we know that McKinnon would be eating into Clyde's role, not Pacheco's role.
Yeah, Pacheco is going to be the clear lead back where McKinnon will just do some like relief passing down work to give Pacheco a break.
I'd be shocked if McKinnon had more than 2 rush attempts.
Oh, he's not even a rusher anymore. He's just occasionally catching passes.
So I do think Kyle Shanahan kind of learned from that Falcons Patriots debacle. Like I do think points.
Moody's been sketchy though as a kicker.
He has been, but the distance is there. It's the accuracy. So I do feel like Shanahan will try to take his points, but they'll move the ball efficiently. So it won't be any long field goals. But I do think there'll be more than one field goal. But I do think the Chiefs will definitely cover the 2. This is an interesting one. I think defensive props go underappreciated in the Super Bowl. I have Nick Bosa over 3.5 tackles plus assists, and the Chiefs to win.
Oh, that's too low. I mean, you're talking one of the best defenders in the league, and from what we're seeing, Kansas City might not have their starting line together.
That's why I bet it, because I don't believe that even if what is it, Tooney plays, I don't think.
Tooney's one of the best guards in the league. I mean,
yeah, and even then, I don't think he'll play at full strength. And then this is just easy Chiefs money line with Patrick Mahomes passing over 259. I
Yeah,
think
no, that's a good recipe.
that's already been bet up. And I think that's it so far. Oh, and then I have Travis Kelce at FanDuel at plus 17 what is it, 1,700, so it's $1 to win 17 on him to win MVP. And the reason why is the 20%. I'm buying the 20%
MVP of the Super Bowl is going to be 2 touchdown Kyle Juszczyk.
Oh, okay. No, well, here's the thing. There's one for the Swifties bet called called friendship bracelets. It's Travis Kelce or Kyle Juszczyk to score the first TD at plus 600.
That's a great. I want to find that. I
Like,
want to get that for myself. Like I wish I could bet on this shit.
That's not a bad bet.
That's really good.
I think it's under novelty, right? The Taylor Swift.
No,
one?
it's under Super Bowl specials.
Is it? Okay. So yeah,
There's one called "Is It Over Now?" Chiefs to lead by 14 plus points at any time.
I do kind of like the jersey bets usually, but I don't know if I'll bet it this year. I did bet it last year.
What's the jersey bets?
So it's combined touchdown.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's a first touchdown bet, which you're betting for over under. Usually a small number.
The over under the jersey number of the thing. It wasn't set at like 22.
Yeah, it was 22.
Here's another one that's kind of good. The shake it off one. San Francisco to score the first touchdown, but Kansas City still to win. Like, some of these are good.
Yeah, I gotta find them.
Yeah, the Super Bowl specials, and then, but I do think that the one that I was talking about earlier is my favorite.
Why can't I find the Super Bowl special? I'll find it. Here it is.
It's right
Okay, McCaffrey to have 150 plus rushing receiving yards. I knew you were troubled bet. 160 plus 160 for that. But friendship bracelets is I like friendship bracelets.
I don't know. If you're gonna do the Travis Kelce thing, I kind of like the higher odds. I would just go the 11 receptions at 550.
Well, okay. You want to hear the worst one, Gov? What do you think the worst Swifty bet would be?
I'll scroll through.
Is there a bet on Travis Kelce proposing after the game?
No. For the Swifties, everything's named after a song. So there isn't one about that. So what do you think the worst possible thing would be that you could bet on for a ridiculous amount of money for the Swifties?
I have no idea. I don't even know most of her song titles.
Well, it's called Karma. It's Travis Kelce to have 0 catches in San Francisco to win at plus 3,000 odds.
That is basically injury. You're betting on injury, right?
0 catches for Travis Kelce.
Because even we saw a guy that we respect.
I might put $10 on that.
I mean,
I think San Fran wins anyway, so all I need is Travis Kelce to.
See, my thing is, I would personally, I would rather bet a punter to win the Super Bowl than that, or Super Bowl MVP. Sorry, than bet Kelce to have 0 catches.
Evan, you've been quiet.
0 is rough. I could see him having 1 actually. That's where you'd get screwed.
There's a world where he has to have 1 unless he gets
5
hurt.
yards and then be done.
Right, he has to get hurt and not catch the ball on the play he gets hurt.
Fair. But in all honesty, though, I want you to be honest here, Evan. Does these prop bets piss you off? Because you seem oddly quiet. It's okay.
No, they don't. They don't piss me off. It's just I just don't really have one opinion one way or another because I'm not a prop bet guy. So I'm indifferent.
Well, me either. It's just I think there's a lot of value in them.
I don't need prop bets to be interested in the Super Bowl. So that's why I just look at this
I get
it
that.
may be fun for other people, but I personally don't give a shit either way. I just want to enjoy the game for what it is.
I do like to see because I know Vegas is not dumb. I do like to see some of the stuff that they're throwing up there at props and what kind of odds they're giving it. It's might help me decide. They really don't expect Justin Watson to have exactly 84 receiving yards.
Oh, crazy. That really?
which makes perfect sense.
But no,
That's just a silly bet, though. Like,
but I love that we have Evan on the show and he's not faking it because I'm telling you because I consume a lot more podcasts than you probably do, Evan. In fact, I think I know I do. And there's a lot of these these Super Bowl big game, podcasts that will come on and they'll fake it. They'll generate this fake excitement for prop bets, and they'll try to tell you that you should bet everything and this is how you have to do it. So I like that you just like it's not for me because I do think even though I'm a big DraftKings guy and Bet Weekly, I do think some of the gambling promotion and advertisement has went a bit too far sometimes.
See, and not like I'm looking at that one or those two props right there at the bottom.
Yep.
And just comparing them with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking either the Debo Rice one needs to be a lot more favorite. Like that needs to be like minus 250. Because each of them getting one pass caught on the scripted first drive in the first quarter.
You'd expect
100%, I think that happened.
Yeah, after 2 weeks of the best offensive minds.
If that's 175, then the Purdy or Mahomes throwing a touchdown.
Okay, no, the player
should be almost even money.
The McCaffrey one to have 30 plus rush yards each half is ridiculously low. Oh my god!
I don't think so.
He's usually not that consistent. Usually
30 rush yards each half.
Yeah, but usually he'll have like a one quarter that he only gets like 22, and then he'll have a quarter he busts off like for 50.
Okay, so again, that equals out to him having 30 rush yards each half.
Yes, but if he has one with 22, then it voids the bet. He has to have at least 30 in each half.
In both halves.
Oh, half. I'm thinking a quarter. I'm thinking a quarter.
You said
yeah,
quarter.
He could definitely do that. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking it said quarter.
No, 30 it's half.
30 a quarter sounds about right. Gets 120 rushing yards. That sounds about right for him.
I think it's a fair line. I wouldn't say it's like
Didn't even bat an eye when I'm like, oh yeah, 120 rushing yards. He definitely gets that all the time.
Well, look at either McCaffrey or Pacheco just have one receiving touchdown. That's not crazy.
That's a good bet.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a great bet. It's fine.
Ayuk and Rice to combine for 150 seems really good to me. What is that at?
I'm plus 125. I'm not.
That's plus money. I thought that was minus 125.
No, I'm not a fan.
I like that's one I would take.
I don't like that.
The two of them to combine for one. I think either of them, if they have a big game, gets 150 themselves. So if they both just have an average game,
here's another one.
Rice can get you 90. Ayuk can get you 60. You're good.
See, this one makes sense to me. The McCaffrey to have plus 50 plus rush yards each half, that's something that scares me.
That one's a little rougher.
But that's why it's at 350.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that scares me. Even the McCaffrey and Pacheco to combine for 200 rush yards.
That's
no. I don't want any part of that.
I would have liked that to have been like 180.
I might be making too much of it, but with McKinnon potentially coming off the IR, with Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting some usage, let's not act like Pacheco is
Pacheco's going to get 70% of the snaps.
He's going to be their main back. He's going to be their lead back. Even when McKinnon was there, he's going to we know the role McKinnon will play if he's healthy. He'll help on the goal line. He can be a better pass catching back.
I'm just saying,
we got to preview it a little bit, but I don't think he's a bad bet on, to be a person in a lineup. It's different than a use-check dart throw at 200.
No, I'm definitely going to have to McKinnon if he's active. My point is, though, I just don't think the Chiefs are a run-first team, especially in the goal line. I don't know if he'll have enough to get there.
They've never been a run-first team, though, so I'm not sure what that means.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think they're going to highlight Travis Kelce and Mahomes. I don't think this is a game where you would bet on McKinnon to for sure get there in terms of his.
No, but let's be honest. If you get all the stars in the game and every one of your stars hit, and McKinnon gives you 5 points off a 1 catch, 2 catch game.
No. Well, yeah, I'm just saying the Pacheco bets, for him to have 200 rushing yards with McCaffrey.
Yeah, no, we don't.
No, I wouldn't
anyway.
like
I'd love
that.
the lower. I would have to have a lower number on that.
I didn't think I'd be scared at 175.
And I think McCaffrey could get you 150 of that. I'm still not sure.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Any two of Rice, Kelce, Ayuk, and Debo to have 100+ yards. That's.
Well, look at this McCaffrey special of one rush touchdown,
too.
1 receiving touchdown plus 550. That's not awful.
It will be for our use check captains.
It would be for you, check captains for sure, but it's not awful.
This one,
Oh, Bosa and
I
ooh.
Bosa has another one that I like more for Bosa to get 2 sacks himself.
was going to have to scroll down to find it, so I didn't do it for sake of time. But I do have a Chris Jones bet at basically 1 sack, and I win it plus 150.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Either Purdy, is there a recipe where either quarterback throws for 4 touchdowns in this game?
I mean, Mahomes would have to, I would think.
I think
Mahomes
so
would-
because
I don't see the recipe for it.
Purdy, I think there's too much McCaffrey use
In Debo.
Debo that could have rushing touchdowns.
Right.
If these were
Mahomes
passing
and
touchdowns,
Purdy-
though, if these were passing touchdowns, they would probably be like screen passes or something
Right,
dumb like
like-
that happens to work.
Oh yeah,
But
That's-
like even
yeah.
Mahomes to get 4 in this game, I don't know if they have to score 35 points, which I think
Well-
that would be the recipe.
if you're going to do that, I would just rather do this one where you bet
Yeah,
on Mahomes
I actually was thinking like the Mahomes Purdy combined for 7.
for
Like,
7.
if you think there's going to be all those screens, yeah, like I might do that.
That's what I'm saying. Because if you already think there's going to be a lot of touchdowns, I would just go for the higher.
Do you think if this game ends up being like a great Super Bowl, people will just eat their crow and be like, yeah, this was a good Super Bowl and it's a good. I'm glad it
Yeah,
happened.
if it ends up being a
I
good
don't-
Super Bowl,
I
yeah.
don't think people will. I think everyone's going to just hate it because it's oh look there's your bet. There's your bet, Gov.
I was
You
gonna
checked
say,
out
this is
25
Gov, yeah.
yards and 1 touchdown plus 18.
I was waiting
Plus
for this.
1,800.
Getting back-
I could put $3 on that and pay off all my lineups for the week.
No, I was honestly going to ask you. Honestly, I bet Travis Kelce had basically the same odds to win MVP. What do you think is more likely, this bet or my Travis Kelce to win MVP? Mindful that, remember, the fan vote
I
was
believe
100%.
in this one. I don't believe in the Kelsey one, but I think they probably are almost equal in odds, right?
The fans
I think like the
20%.
actual likelihood of
I
these
think
things
they are
happening
equal.
pretty
I think
close.
they are equal in odds.
I think they're actually pretty close to like optimally happening. But I don't believe in the Kelsey getting MVP. I do believe Juszczyk will get a screen pass and a touchdown.
Okay, let's.
Like this isn't a joke. Like you're legitimately that high on Juszczyk to get good usage.
Yeah.
I
He's
want to
on
get
the
back
field
to
all the time.
I want to get back
He's
to Donnie's point though about what's going to make this a good Super Bowl. Like, how are we defining this for the vast majority of viewers to call this a good Super Bowl? Like a lot of scoring.
I don't think a lot of people would call it a good Super Bowl, even if it was a good Super Bowl. Like,
how do you
if
mean?
it's
What do you mean by that?
If it's just a good game, like it's a good game environment. There's enough points. Defense still plays well. Because I personally, even if the Patriots would have won, for me that Eagles Super Bowl was much more boring than the Rams Super Bowl against the Patriots. I like defense, so for me, I like that 13-3 didn't bug me.
See, I'm not against good defense either, but today's NFL, they just expect constant passing touchdowns.
No,
From
I know,
everybody.
but I legitimately don't think it's a fan thing of like, okay, the Patriots won, this lost, the other one. To me, it was more enjoyable seeing defense play well, and then you have that offensive play that makes you jump out of your seat, than to just see all offense and it's like, is the defense ever going to do anything?
I do think it's an interesting question though, because okay, if you guys had to script your ideal way to end the season, what would it look like? Because I do think the idea that it's a good football game.
Oh, we got to be NFL scriptwriters?
Well, sure. However you want to look at it, whether you want to take it, but that's kind of what I mean though. Is like, because I do think there's a difference between a good football game fundamentally and a textbook wise.
Okay, yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like that
Opposed
Eagles
to an
Patriots Super
entertaining
Bowl
game.
Okay.
was not a good fundamental Super Bowl. Like fundamentally,
So the
that Super Bowl
game
was
starts out. Kansas City wins the flip to first.
Mm-hmm.
San Fran comes out, runs a basic. It looks like San Fran's just doing their San Fran thing. McCaffrey scores the first touchdown. Kelsey comes out with, like, Mahomes and Kelsey come out their first drive. They also look great. Come down the field. Kelsey scores a touchdown. You then have a mired second quarter that ends in both teams kicking field goals, and you get 10-10 at the half.
The square holders are going crazy.
You start the second quarter. Mahomes comes out, deep ball to some
MVS. There's Tony.
Somebody. Tony, MVS, Watson, Hardman. Don't care. Sky Moore. Somebody. Long touchdown, real quick. San Fran gets the ball. They grind out another drive. Deebo.
Can I add one in there for you, Gov, for San Fran?
What do you got?
Jake Moody throws a touchdown pass to Mitch Wishnowsky, the punter.
Okay, but that's
No, I don't think we're going to need to get that. See, now there was a quick score by Kansas City. San Fran's going to come down, grind out like half the quarter, go down. Deebo's going to score now.
Mm-hmm.
Then Kansas City's going to get the ball back. Boom. Rashee Rice. Now he's going to hit one big. So you're going to be not even into the fourth quarter, and Kansas City's going to made it 24-17. San Fran's going to come out, drive, have another good – like San Fran's going to end up looking like them. They're going to have like 4 big drives that score touchdowns. They get their 30 points. McCaffrey gets a touchdown. You get Deebo gets a touchdown.
And he picks.
Third one is going to go to Juszczyk on a screen pass. Kansas City, it's going to tie the game up. Kansas City's going to get the ball back.
Is it like
they're going to come
says,
down? They're going to come down to it. This is the fourth quarter, like last 5 minutes. They're going to kick a field goal because of a bullshit penalty that stops the drive. With like 3 minutes left. They're going to give the ball to San Fran up 27-24. And San Fran is going to do their thing sloppily. It's going to look awful.
Brock Purdy.
Deebo's going to drop a ball. The ball's going to be almost intercepted that Ayuk does catch for 20 yards. And they're going to get down into the red zone where they have a chance to kick the field goal. And they're going to go for it. And Juszczyk's going to catch a second touchdown and win the game.
That sounds a little biased.
And San Fran's going to win 31-27. In what will be like, it'll look like San Fran shouldn't win. It'll look, Purdy's going to look awful. Deebo's going to look awful. McCaffrey's not going to be able to do anything in that last drive. But they're still going to mire themselves in that 3 minutes with their timeouts and get down to like the 22, the 18-yard line. And then they're going to get an 18-yard like screen pass to Juszczyk on a broken play maybe.
See, I'm more of a
that's going to be the final play of the game. You might give Kansas and they might be like, "Oh my God, you gave Patrick Mahomes 12 seconds left." It's not going to matter.
So it's not going to be what Juno says with the Kadarius Toney winning touchdown.
But Tony might be the guy that catches the crazy one at the start of the third quarter. I don't know who's getting the crazy touchdown at the start of the third quarter. Whether it's Watson, MVS, like Tony, it could be any of them. But that's what I got.
Yeah.
Juszczyk could throw a touchdown to McCaffrey to win the game. That could happen. Or vice versa. McCaffrey might throw a touchdown to Juszczyk to win the game.
Can I get a Noah Gray passing touchdown in the script?
Juszczyk might throw a touchdown to Deebo on an end around.
I do believe that it is 20 plus 2,500.
But I think Juszczyk will be involved in the final touchdown.
Juszczyk, did he pass to himself?
I don't know about that one. He's not Lamar. Okay, right? I'm not saying Juszczyk is that athletic and game changer. He's not Lamar. He's not catching a pass. He's not doing Cam Newton. He's not going to throw a pass and catch it himself.
It could bounce off of Kadarius Toney.
Anything can happen with Kadarius Toney.
He's got bricks for hands. Come on.
Let me bring it back to reality. If you do think a non-quarterback throws a touchdown, I do believe it's at plus 220 or plus 2,500. So I'm just saying, if you actually think that's possible, it could be.
With Andy Reid, I think it's always possible, to be honest. But I don't think you could logically take the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands anymore. Like, he's too good to not give him the ball.
I do think, though, if the Chiefs run a trick play, it's more going to be a Travis Kelce kind of jet sweep handoff, that kind of like in motion jet sweep kind of handoff thing. That's kind of
Knowing
more.
Matt Nagy, that's probably going to be accurate because he's going to want to do something completely stupid
Hey,
that's going to lose 4
no,
yards.
let's be honest, dude. Andy Reid's calling the whole offense. Like,
He better.
Okay, so, but like I said, I used to host a Super Bowl party for the last 10 years. And here's what the casuals would always ask me. The first thing they would do when they come through the door and they want to talk any football after we get done talking about snacks, desserts, and who's going to play at the halftime show, all the casual topics are done. They want to know one football thing. They want to know what the score is going to be and how entertaining it is. So, like, that's my point. Is like, do you actually think we're going to just get like a hardcore football game, or do you think like the casuals will be happy with all of the kind of nonsense and theatrics between Travis Kelce celebrations when we see Taylor Swift and all that other nonsense?
Who's the halftime show again? Usher and who else?
I think Reba McEntire is doing like.
I know she's doing the national anthem.
I have no idea.
I just think it's an Apple collaboration.
This is the first year I don't know what the halftime show is going to be. So, like,
yeah, that shows the NFL did a bad job.
I believe it's been announced Usher and a Apple conglomerate. So basically, Apple is
are they going
putting
to use
on.
the dome in Vegas?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what we need. We need them to do like inside the dome in Vegas, the dome of devastation of Celebrity Deathmatch. Like, that's what we need.
Knowing Al Davis, I wouldn't put anything past him to try to have any sneak attack kind of performances.
Well, he's dead, so like he would definitely be a sneak attack if Al Davis did.
Yeah, man.
Quite the sneak attack if Al Davis did anything.
I'm telling you,
I can't deny you on that one, Logan. It's sneaky.
All those
Davis
Davis
from the grave and do that shit.
All those
Davis can definitely do whatever he wants.
Yeah, all those
well,
Davis
maybe not, but he'll try.
Man. I guess I got Mark and his dad confused, but I'm telling you, all those Davises creep me out.
It's just Usher and a conglomerate. Yay, that's going to be an amazing Super Bowl. I wonder if there's going to be another crazy ad. You think there'll be another crazy ad for something? A crypto ad? Another ad where they just put a QR code on the screen for a minute and a half?
Yeah, it could definitely happen.
Like, what? Who do you think is the crazy ad this year?
Well, okay, we haven't spoke about it. But remember how earlier this year we brought up on the show the Sphere in Las Vegas and how I said I hated it?
Yeah.
You and everyone else.
Yeah. Well, I will say I'm sharing the
screen.
I'm sharing the screen now. I think that's the one kind of cool thing you could do.
That is cool.
That's pretty cool.
Today.
Yeah. I'll give them that. That's pretty cool.
They can do whatever they want. They can put the helmets up there. They can put whatever symbol they want up there.
And I am excited to see what they have for Super Bowl celebrations on it.
They've also sold out too. They have decorated buildings to look like Doritos. They have
Vegas will go all out. Yeah. Like, I have no doubt about that.
Vegas knows how to sell, man. Like,
yeah, no, you can go back.
I wish I could be in Vegas.
I do think that is a cool thing that they're going to do, and now I am getting excited for maybe what they will do during the, during the celebration.
Okay.
I just want to address one more thing, just based on one comment. No puppy monkey baby. That was the worst ad I've ever seen in my life.
Puppy monkey baby. Puppy monkey baby.
This is why we brought the video on. See, this moment right now would not be encapsulated with such good pixelation if it wasn't for moments like this.
I'm so excited for Puppy Monkey Baby too.
That was a Mountain Dew ad, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Does Mountain Dew have anything new?
They have new flavors all the time.
I'll be honest.
Anything specific?
Juno knows all the Mountain Dew flavors, actually. It's weird.
I feel like half the new Mountain Dew flavors are just combining others.
Okay, here. If he knows everything, then he can answer my question. Did they ever make a vanilla Mountain Dew?
No.
I know.
Because I always, whenever I'd go to Quick Trip or a gas station or anything that had like flavorings, I would add a little bit of vanilla, or even at home, I could add like a drop of vanilla extract to my Mountain Dew and just make it like a Mountain Dew cream soda. Oh,
That's what I used to
so
do orange
fucking
soda too.
Good.
Vanilla
Oh.
extract added to almost anything just boosts everything up.
But I don't think they ever made like they have vanilla Coke, they have vanilla Pepsi, they have
I love
vanilla, all
vanilla
that
Coke.
stuff. I don't think they ever made vanilla Mountain Dew, and I love vanilla Mountain Dew, but it's also quite potent to I would get some people try it and they're like, oh my god.
So you just add a little bit of vanilla to it. Like, can I get a proportion thing?
Oh god, the fruitcake one. Don't know. Oh god, no. Oh god. Oh, don't remind me about that one. Oh god.
But honestly, the open market emergence of like Amazon opens up the idea that you can get international flavors of all kinds of things. So I wouldn't put it past any of these companies.
No.
But honest question to close up here, because this is honestly a thing that I think Donnie thinks I'm crazy about. So I bet Travis Kelce at plus 1,700, which I already talked about. But now that the fans can vote for the first time ever, they get 20% of the vote.
I don't think you're crazy for this.
Oh,
I think it makes sense.
I thought you thought I was crazy.
No, I thought you were crazy.
I do
think
not.
everyone's crazy.
I do
I'm
not.
crazy.
I do not think I should be able to vote on it, which I already did.
Oh,
And, no, I mean I don't think I should be able to bet on it and vote. So I am going to not vote on it out of principle
yeah, no, that's crazy.
because I bet on it. I know I could, but it just feels criminal to me that I have such a high stake in it. I shouldn't have a vote. I think I'm biased. Is that crazy?
That's crazy. 100% crazy. Ridiculously crazy. Even if he didn't deserve it, you should still vote for it because you're messing with your money. To be honest.
It feels like insider trading to me. Like it feels like fraud. I don't like it.
It's not illegal. There's no law against it.
I know. I'm just telling you the morality of my soul. Like that's where because you guys know I'm a dark soul sometimes. So like that's where I get weird because like the things I draw the line on are very interesting. But do you find that to be egregious take of mine? I just feel like if you bet, you should not have a fan vote.
No, I can agree with that.
I mean, if it was like but since everybody else is doing it, why should you hurt yourself in that scenario? Some people have morals, Donnie. Thank you, Juno. You're welcome.
Well, I have morals; they're just twisted.
Yeah, Juno just wants to question my morality now. That's fine.
That's where we are on this show. Maybe that's the time that we should wrap up.
So you guys already know that I'm a dynasty guy through and through, and it's always at this time of year where all of my leagues are done. I don't even think about stuff like what you guys are thinking about with like prop bets for the Super Bowl and keeping on with just anything on DraftKings. I get in the habit of just being at this time of year, just being at peace and stress-free where I get to take a break until August, where now it's different, where now that you could basically bet on what color hat that somebody's going to be wearing at the game. Well, I mean,
who wears the most ridiculous outfit?
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair to you, Evan, I actually like the more serious, like the more actual football props more than the novelty. I think Donnie actually enjoys like the comedy of the novelty.
I would never bet on it, but I do think it's funny that you could bet on something as silly as a Gatorade color.
Yeah, I actually take prop betting
It's
very
the best.
serious. I bet a lot of over-unders when it comes to actual yardage and passing and stuff like that.
And like I think because a lot of money is going to come in on these prop bets, you might be able to find the edges there.
No, there
Especially on
are
the Super
definitely
Bowl
edges
more.
in like
Yeah,
than on any
color. If you can find out like what Mahomes' favorite Gatorade is, they're going to have Mahomes' favorite Gatorade.
Oh, I need to figure out what the color of the Gatorade is going to be so I can bet that immediately. Like,
Yeah. I
How
kind
do
of
you figure that out from a distance, though? Sorry to cut you off, Logan. I'm just
oh no,
wondering. Like,
I'll do research to see like what do the Chiefs normally have on the sideline.
well, because I was thinking like you'd have to be physically in Vegas to figure out like what's coming off the truck, right?
No, because the teams are going to bring it with themselves. Usually, the teams have their own Gatorade.
Well, no, imagine
So,
like
you got to know what
driver.
the Chiefs and what San Fran's going to have on the sideline. They have a deal with Gatorade. It's just what do they normally drink?
Yeah, no. Imagine that Gatorade worker that has to bring the Gatorade to the games, and he knows like what the Chiefs like the most.
He works at the game. He's not allowed to bet on it.
Oh, so he God?
Does he work at the game? He works for Gatorade.
If he works at the stadium, he would not be allowed to bet on the game.
Yeah, if he has any association to it indirect. Because remember, I mentioned that the background dancer that linked the national anthem over under was under this, and I knew Gov had some insight. It is interesting the links, Evan, that people will go to for these prop bets. So I would love Gov to actually elaborate if he would, because I know he's actually done some of the research just to tell the people like what kind of research actually goes into it, because I think a lot of people like to laugh at it, but seriously, there is.
I mean, like I personally didn't do any of the research, but like everyone in our Discord will like
Right.
do that kind of stuff. Like if you're fans of the team, you might have been to a game, you might already know like the Chiefs usually drink clear Gatorade or something like that, or whatever it is.
No, like I would go with whatever the star player's favorite Gatorade is.
Yeah, or whatever the captains of the team is. Like it's so it's what the team has on the sideline. So like there's usually a consensus, and most teams like get the same stuff every week. So you got to figure that out.
That
so,
would
like
be
really that's stuff that you could find out, but it's not like publicly available knowledge. You got to find a reputable fan of the team, a season ticket holder. Like we have people in our Discord. Like if it were the Falcons, I know exactly what color Gatorade they'd probably have because Zane would know exactly what color Gatorade.
Yeah, no, but this is a conversation Juno and I were having actually a couple days ago, where it was like, if I'm a reporter doing Super Bowl media stuff and a player goes to answer my question, I'm asking them what color Gatorade do you like? I'm sorry, and I know I'm gonna mess with the market because of it.
See, and then that might be something you can do, but like, I need that little bit of info. So like, you're not wrong.
I would do it personally. I think it's funny.
It's more of a stock market.
There may have been a Gatorade bath earlier on in the year where I can just go back, rewatch the end of a game, and see something like that. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, just imagine
being that at the Super Bowl.
You know what? What did the Chiefs have dumped on Andy Reid last year?
Exactly. We have footage of this. We have
2 years of it.
I believe it was orange. I think it was actually on the DraftKings main page. Hold on. Let me look.
Yeah, I didn't look at what they have for each color.
I don't know if DraftKings has a market because they had it for a while, but then they took some prop bets down last year.
No, the Gatorade one's still there. I saw it earlier.
Is it?
It's in a different tab, but like it's in a tab
at
the start.
Clear is at 1,000. Okay, yeah, you were about to pull it up here. Purple is at 225.
Yeah, you can see it last year. It was orange, I believe.
Orange is at 300 right now.
To me, that's too low for orange. I'm going to stop talking about this.
So, but honestly,
Gatorade anymore. It makes me think of a water board. Gatorade.
Here's some honest advice that my professional gambler said. He said if you want to bet overs, do it early in the week. So do it today. Tomorrow is probably the cutoff. If you want to bet unders, do them as late into the game as possible. So literally
bet your unders on Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Right. Or even later. But if you're going to bet overs, make sure it's probably done by tomorrow afternoon. In an efficient market.
It really, really sucks.
And two, for novelties, if you see a big move, they probably know something. So, like, if Gatorade is so much, like, say Gatorade color, I haven't pulled it up yet. Say orange is like 800, plus 800, and the others are like far distance. There's probably a good reason for that. So, you might want to do more research.
I'm trying to think. Would like clear Gatorade be considered the white Gatorade, and that's it? Like Glacier Freeze? Or like what do we consider? Okay, where's the cutoff for clear Gatorade?
So here's the thing: some sports books, if it's clear, they'll pay it, and so it could even be water. Some other sports books specify that it has to be Gatorade. So honestly, you should read the terms of your agreements in your sports.
No. But like, what do we consider clear Gatorade? Because all I could think of would be like Glacier Freeze. But like, is there any other color that's clear besides the? And that Glacier Freeze is still white.
So the closest thing to clear Gatorade would be Propel Water, which is technically Gatorade, but not Gatorade. So what if it's Propel for some reason?
That's what I'm telling you. If it's water,
Gatorade makes
on
that.
The sports book, yeah.
Yeah, technically it is Gatorade, but it's not marketed the same. It's
that's where
Propel.
That's what I'm telling you. You honestly have to read the terms of your agreement. Like,
by the way, but I just want to know, like, where, like, if we're talking specifically Gatorade, not like Propel Water, what's the cutoff?
Well, that's the only thing I can think of as far as clear goes.
Yeah, like it would be water.
I
Yeah.
love how we're arguing the semantics of clear games. It's the best ever. This is why I love Super Bowl prop bets.
Yeah. By the way, how fucked
It
up would it?
matters. It really matters. It's so good.
Hey,
Oh,
you
I'm
know,
so glad I got home for this. Oh.
how fucked up would it be if the Gatorade bet went on Matt Nagy instead of Andy Reid? How pissed would you be?
I wouldn't care.
Oh, they need to throw it on Taylor Swift.
No.
Oh my God. That's
Okay.
what they need to do. She needs to be covered in purple Gatorade. Purple rain.
Gov, let's come full circle on the stupidity of these props. Okay, you came from a restaurant, Gov rushed home as a chef to join this podcast. So let's go full circle. Last topic. Last year there was actually an off-market prop bet for Andy Reid to eat a cheeseburger on the sidelines. You could
Nice.
honestly
Yeah, I
bet
saw that last year. Yeah.
That's so silly.
Now this year it's probably going to be chicken nuggies because of the Allstate commercial.
Honestly, I'm not kidding. The offshore bet, the craziest one I've heard is there's a bet to see if Taylor Swift will eat anything inside of the skybox this year.
Will you see Taylor Swift eating?
Well,
Anything.
I'm on this train of they're not going to show Taylor that much.
There's nowhere for her to, like. I mean,
yeah.
I remember them saying like, there's nowhere for her private plane to be in Las
Yes,
Vegas.
that is true.
She's
She is
not
having
going to be able to
trouble getting
leave
there.
Tokyo till after midnight or later because of her concert in Tokyo on Saturday night. So, like, I think best case scenario, she has to fly into like Reno
Yes, and she'd have to
at
travel
like
from there.
noon or maybe 10 a.m. or something.
She'll get there.
Because like Tokyo to like, you're talking like a 13-hour flight. Like, I think there's a best case scenario, I think, where she lands in Reno a couple hours from Vegas at like noon, 1 o'clock, and only has like 3 hours to get to the Super Bowl through all the traffic that's going to be in Vegas.
Well, she could helicopter there possibly though.
Traffic. Honestly, what are we talking about?
I don't like hearing the word celebrity and helicopter anymore. I'm sorry. I'm having Kobe flashbacks.
I'm with you, man. But it might happen.
No, like realistically though, that's probably what will happen.
Let's be honest. She will.
Yeah, she'll get there. She'll get there, or she'll figure out a way. She'll have her private jet fly in and then fly out. So she'll still land in Vegas, but then like I already know like there's a bunch of rich people there, and there's no hangars left for the private jets to like park. There's no jet parking in Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, it just seems like a huge oversight for someone like Taylor Swift, where she could have done this 3 weeks ago and gotten ready.
3 weeks ago, she couldn't cancel a concert in Tokyo she planned a year ago.
It would have been bad PR.
No.
Really, the only thing she
just
could have done was not get with Travis Kelce 3 months ago, or Travis could have not been in the Super Bowl. That would have helped Taylor a lot.
I agree. Anyway, no, but Evan sent us something about. Evan said something about earlier in the Discord how she was only shown 24 seconds, wasn't it, in the AFC Championship on TV?
Yes,
After
it was
she
less
had
than
asked,
30 seconds.
like, why was I
cumulatively.
being shown so much? It's like, well, you're fucking Taylor Swift. And we're gonna
Also, Juno, I love the last comment. That's a great comment.
Okay.
She wears like a big fan and a parachute, like the Fan Man days.
Okay.
Oh, I'd love that. That'd be great.
I want this to be the last topic so this show doesn't go too long. But I actually have to applaud the way we've handled this, because I think at this point, the Taylor Swift thing, you either have to be for her or against her. And I'm somewhere in the middle. Like, I respect her as a musician. I respect that the celebrities are going to date other celebrities, and fame and fortune and the advertisement and the promotion they can both get off of that is just beneficial. We have seen that throughout movie stars, throughout, musicians mixing. Like, that makes sense to me. And I hope the love is genuine. But I also don't understand this idea that, you have to like if you're a football purist, you can't also listen to Taylor Swift, or you can't have your finger on the pulse of pop culture. That is strange to me. That like there honestly becomes this Power Rangers kind of mentality where it's like you have to either form this alliance where you're a football only guy or you're like for the pop culture narrative, and I find that to be so stupid. At the same time, it's like I don't care if they show her, just like I don't care if they show young Sheldon.
Well, here's my
Commercial.
thing. Last year, everyone thought it was awesome that Donna Kelsey was getting showed all week long, and we had to stomach that for a week.
And I was kind of the same mindset. Yeah, the brothers were playing together. It's a cool narrative, but I don't need their mom doing chunky noodle soup commercials to tell me that because I'm a football fan. I understand their greatness. I'm kind of the same thing. Like I understand they're going to show young Shelton in commercials because they're going to advertise their stuff. I understand why they would want to market Taylor Swift, but at the same time, I do kind of feel bad if they really do love each other and they really do want a relationship because I do think their relationship is being prostituted at this point unfairly, and some of that is their doing. I get that, but like I don't know. I don't want to buy into that. Like I don't want to buy into that kind of trafficking. So I just don't.
Yeah. See, my thing, the Donna Kelsey stuff was much more overblown. At least, like, people care about Taylor Swift. Let's be honest.
That's fair.
World-class, most famous pop singer out there right now. I mean, if this was 20 years ago and Britney Spears wasn't with Justin Timberlake and was with a football player in the Super Bowl, she'd be getting similar treatment.
Yeah.
And, also, while we're talking about wives and stuff and girlfriends.
If she weren't in the Super Bowl and Detroit was, we would be going to Eminem.
Yes.
Half the freaking
Exactly.
And Flavor Flav.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, no, but my thing is, and this is probably something we won't see at all, but something that's, to me, a lot more important and impactful is like San Francisco, Kyle Juszczyk's wife, she makes all those design coats and stuff that is getting a little popular. She just got to deal with the NFL. She can now use NFL logos. That's more important, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I'd put it on a scale of importance. I would just say I think that's on its own fantastic.
It's honestly just good news compared to like, okay, yeah, why do we care about who Travis Kelce's dating? That's how I feel.
I mean, honestly, the way I see it is like the same way the Lakers would show Jack Nicholson. Like people were like, "Well, he was a hardcore fan." It's like, well, Taylor Swift is a fan of Taylor.
And it's like Knicks with a spike, like that's all you saw when the Knicks were playing.
Yeah, and
Toronto
all of them have one thing in common. They're fucking
Drake
famous.
in the finals.
Toronto with Drake in the finals. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Like, the
honestly?
big celebrities that are on the team, they're going to show them because, like, these are the big name rich people who are cheering for your team. Yay. Yep.
Yeah, it's the same reason.
Camaraderie. Like, it's going to happen.
Patriots with Mark Wahlberg.
Well, it's the same reason DraftKings signed Kevin Hart to promote their, commercials. It's the same reason they signed LeBron James as well to do, it's going to happen. I'll be honest, I do not care if Gronkowski makes the kick or misses it outside of the pop cultureness, but guess what? FanDuel got me interested because they gave me a free prop bet on it, so I bet yes for him to make it, so the bastard better make the kick. So, I don't, we got to be honest that sometimes things are not meant for you. Like, the casuals that watch the game do not care if Gronkowski makes the kick. They want to see Taylor Swift. So guess what? They're going to get that world too.
Both.
This is the last time for a long time I'll get to see a Patriot in the Super Bowl.
Oh, poor you, Donnie.
I know.
Being born and raised into the dynasty.
I love it.
That might actually be harder though for you to stomach.
I missed a good question for you too, Donnie, about Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones and what's going to happen after their contracts expire.
I don't care. I don't care. Whatever they feel is best, fine. You've made the right decisions for so long. You're allowed to suck it up.
I actually think that's a good measure to take. Speaking of good measures, I do have one surprise for the guys. They don't know what it is. But we will be building 3 lineups. They know of 2. We will be building 3. I'll just say that. They don't know anything else. I'm going to keep that a secret until at least the day of building for suspense reasons. So you guys will have a builder show. We will be doing 3 lineups. There'll be a twist there. It's not all DraftKings lineups, I'll say that.
Yeah, Drake May is going to be the Patriots' next quarterback, and I stand by that, and I love Drake May. Thank you.
Talk about Grammys. It sounds like you just gave an award speech.
I
On
mean,
our way out too. Maybe I got to start playing the music because I think this podcast is about over. Anything else you guys want to mention?
No, I guess that's it. We took a show that was not planned at all and didn't know what we were going to talk about to an hour and 40 minutes of ridiculousness.
Well, when I jump in a half hour late, like it's gonna go a little longer. Like that.
I think we would have went an hour and a half anyway.
Ooh, I have pizza to eat too. Still.
Hopefully it's not cold this time.
Oh, it's all good.
So good night, guys. We'll see you guys, I believe, on Friday. That's tentatively the idea. We're gonna shoot for Friday. That will give us a 2-day window for you guys to really digest the slate, but also give us the time to get injury news. And that's when the players should be more ramped up. So we should have injury reports and have a better idea of what's happening.
We could go Saturday, but it would have to be late on Saturday.
Yeah. And we also could roll it back too and do a live Sunday recap.
Oh yeah, we can always just go Sunday morning if you guys are off. What do you know? Yeah. No, but Friday night's probably gonna be it.
We could do Sunday morning technically, but no. Awesome.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
Hey, Donnie.
We'll see you guys later this week, definitely.
All right, puppy monkey baby, everybody.
Bye.